We now live and work in an industry where the gap between ultra high-end and budget-friendly camera equipment continues to close. Today, we're going to take a look at one of the most popular set of budget-friendly prime lenses on the market, the DZOFILM Vespid Cinema Lens. The Vespid Cinema Lenses are a full set of primes that cover a 46.5mm image circle. That's beyond full-frame sensor coverage. These lenses do in fact cover VistaVision sensors, and although they are made for large format, the optical performance is unaffected when shooting on a smaller format sensor. Available in multiple sets up to 10 lenses, the DZO Vespid lineup finally provides us with a budget-conscious option that is capable of hanging with big-name cinema lenses. The set that DZO sent me to test consisted of the 25, 35, 50, 75, 100, and 125mm lenses in PL mount. Rounding out the rest of the Vespid lineup is a 16, 21, 40, and 90mm macro, making the Vespids an amazing option for anyone wanting either a full range of focal lengths or the ability to mix and match lenses that suit their shooting style. The Vespids aren't the fastest cinema primes out there, with a t-stop of 2.1 across the set, with the 16mm being the exception at T2.8. Now I think that this is a compromise that you have to make when spending your money on a budget-friendly set of lenses. Now, the glass you put in front of your camera is one of the most important stylistic choices you can make long before you hit the record button, and in the case of the DZO Vespid Cinema Lens set, you're going to get what I consider to be a more neutral look across the entire set. This makes the lens a versatile option for different projects, whether commercials, interviews, music videos, documentaries, or narrative projects. The shape and character of bokeh, in my opinion, is a personal preference, and while some projects are more suitable to more consistently rendered bokeh than others, I find myself leaning towards a more inconsistent and even retro look for my projects lately. The bokeh that the Vespid lenses render are a little bit inconsistent across the range, but I still find it to be pleasing. When shooting wide open, the bokeh starts to cat's eye towards the outer edges of the frame, and I feel that it adds character and interest to the shot, but some people might consider this to be a flaw. Luckily for those people, cutting is eliminated once you stop down to around T3.2. Now, flaring is a wild card with the Vespids. Depending on the focal length, you can expect unpredictable flaring that can sometimes obliterate contrast across most of the frame when light hits the lens directly. I'd almost consider the flaring to provide a soft, dreamy, and almost vintage-like character to the shots, but for those who want controlled flaring, the Vespids may not be for you. Across the entire set, the Vespids share a softer look than most contemporary cinema lenses, but not necessarily in a bad way. The softer look can be a good way to knock some of the digital edge off of a mirrorless camera sensor, but still pair nicely with a more filmic look from a cinema camera like the Red Komodo. Sharpness on these lenses tends to fall off towards the outer edges of the frame, which is just another small compromise that you'll have to deal with if you're looking for an ultra-sharp lens. So when it comes to the look of the footage that you can expect to achieve when using the Vespid Cinema Lenses, I feel that they're a very suitable and versatile set of primes that you can use on a range of different types of work. The neutral look, in my opinion, is a great starting point, and as with any contemporary lens, if you want to dirty these lenses up and knock a bit of sharpness off, you can of course experiment with diffusion filters. This all depends on the look you're trying to achieve for your project, which is ultimately your job as a filmmaker and even more so as a DP or director. If we were to split filmmaking into three categories, being pre-production, production, and post-production, 1/3 of our job pertains to using the gear. And I think it's important that, at least on this channel, that we talk about what it's actually like using the product. In fact, we can call this the product experience. Based on the work that I do, the way a lens is operated makes a big difference in my shooting experience. In the case of pulling focus on the Vespids, I found that the manual 270-degree focus throw and smaller size barrel made it very easy to pull focus on my own by hand. And I've said it before on this channel, I find that with solo op work, a cinema lens with a 270-degree focus throw is the sweet spot. The same can be said for the iris ring. Now, I don't often do iris pulls during shots, but the throw is smooth and consistent across the entire set. And when it comes to shooting, often handheld or on a shoulder rig, it can be nice to use a set of primes that are small and lightweight, and the Vespids are certainly a winner in that category. When I had these lenses in my studio, I was always excited to shoot on them each and every time. Their lightweight and compact design was a welcome change from the heavier high-end cinema lenses that I've been using over the past few years. And while the Vespids may not match those lenses when it comes to optical performance, the Vespids did make up for it in other departments. So for the indie filmmaker, hobbyist, or small production company, the DZOFILM Vespid Cinema Lenses can be a great stepping stone to higher-end lenses, but they don't stop there. With the Vespid primes, DZO has created something well worth considering for long-term use. Based on their value, versatility, size, and weight, and even the optical performance, I find that the Vespids have outperformed every other budget cinema lens that I've had the opportunity to shoot on. Even with their compromises, the Vespid's value can't be ignored.